guys, you've just turned into the first episode of The Lab. I'm your host, Tylene Hockett, aka Ty HD. Today on our first episode, we have here Big Steve.
What's happening?
What's happening? All right, and one half of the class of 1987. Tell us a little bit about that. What's going on with your project and your music?
So, Class of 1987 is a collaboration effort between myself and a very talented producer by the name of Mizzery Jones, aka Sean.
Shout out to Miz.
You know. So, we've just been at this for a few years now, just trying to find that sound and find that look. And Class of 1987 is an opportunity to kind of expose people to something new, something a little bit different. I'm blessed to be a part of it, to say the least. Some of the songs, some of the concepts, everything is really brand new, really fresh. And then we kind of, the name of the group, Class of 1987, came because we were reaching back to a better time within hip-hop. So we looked at it, we thought about when we were born, we thought about the music that influenced us, and we said that the late 80s pretty much had a lot on real hip-hop, real grounded hip-hop. So we wanted to bring back those origins. And, shout out to everybody else who's doing it, definitely within the city and beyond, of course. But we start talking about who's better. Hopefully people start getting their ears tuned back into like real storylines and real plots and really enjoying this thing we love so much. So.
Right. So tell me more about this song that we're playing out, When She Calls. So what was the,
So When She Calls is funny because, I can't speak for Miz and his verse. I wish he was here to talk more about his verse, but I know for me, when I write songs, I write from perspective, and usually first person, so it's usually something I experienced. When I heard the beat, I thought of a house party, and so my verse is pretty much predicated around this house party that I'm at, and I see a young lady, and I'm like, she'd be sweet, I gotta talk to her. Out of all the women in the room, I would much rather talk to her. So it has a very real feel to me. It was the first song that I actually have ever had my voice on iTunes. So I'm really proud of it because it's like, we did this album, we had the opportunity to do iTunes, and this is the song we chose. It's really cool.
Okay, so I've heard quite a few songs off of the Class of 1987 album. And
the album, it's funny, a lot of people call it Class of 1987, they call it the album that. The album is actually entitled Race Records.
Oh!
No, right. You're not the only person that does it, because sometimes I refer to it as that too. The actual title of the album is Race Records.
Okay.
Class of 1987 is our group name. Again, kind of know the meaning behind that now, but we chose Race Records because that has a really dope meaning behind it as well. Race Records being kind of a reference back to a time where black music wasn't heard by everybody at the same time. You had to kind of spoon feed other races what black people were coming up with by either doing covers or just making it specifically for black ears only, and hopefully it kind of leaked into the mainstream media outlets and then gained syndication through that way. So we felt like what we made was so groundbreaking and so dope, people was going to try to hold it back. It's kind of arrogant to a degree, but not really, because the music that we making touches a few subjects right now within our society socially that I think a lot of times aren't talked about or addressed. So in order to get those things, you would definitely have to get the album.
Okay. All right. With all this freshness with Race Records, sorry.
One of those things.
Say
it 10 times fast.
10 times fast, right?
I'm not even gonna do it.
I know, right? Race Records. All right, with that, what kind of message do you want to perpetuate to the audience? I mean, we have a lot of negative influences out there in the music game, period, whether it be R&B, rap, whatever. What kind of message do you and Miss want to actually put out in your music?
Say what you want. But let it be real. Like, don't come from a perspective of what you think is going to sell or what you think is hot. Actually go out with the mission of making great artwork. And then presenting it to people and saying, well, this is what I think is hot, and this is what I truly believe in, and let the people decide. That's what it is. You are a first person point of view of information.
Okay.
So you're a reporter, and you're reporting on not only your life, but hopefully within your life you do have good days. Not everything is gonna be good. So for the people that actually are, rapping and talking about negative things, hopefully that's the life in which they know. and that they're not just perpetuating it because they think it'll sell them records. Hopefully, they really did have to do. I mean, because I think of other artists that I hear, and I really like their music, without naming other artists, because it's about us. But I hear the music.
But you know who you are,
right.
like.
and I really like what they do. I just hope that that's really what they do, because I don't want to ever come across them and I'm like, dude, you a nerd like me, why rap like this? Because you think it's gonna get you somewhere a little bit faster when you can simply tell the truth. And if you're creative enough, or you're a true artist, you'll be able to make the truth just as compelling as a lie.
Right.
That's how I feel.
All right, so this song is playing now, Love Song. I know you have some great things coming up with this, so tell us about your future projects and things you have coming up.
This is my project right now.
All right.
Being that the class of 1987 Race Records album is so fresh to the rest of the world, and the fact that I'm still very, very much grounded within the city of Cleveland. Until this becomes something that at least the city of Cleveland is holding high above their head, like a championship belt, I'm not going to stop pursuing or making the songs on the album hot. So right now my focus is Love Song. It's myself and Miz both did solo songs on the album, because we are solo artists that essentially decided to do a project together.
Right.